this moment in 1992.
I experimented with marijuana a time or two, and I didn't like it, and didn't inhale.
So what if the president admits to a close relationship with Monica Lewinsky, but gives no details?
To come forward with an explanation such as I didn't inhale is not going to cut it.
In fact, more and more Democrats worried about their own re-election say until the president comes forward with a full explanation, there will be only more confusion and more battles over who is telling the truth. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News, Washington.
And the other question, what does this scandal and the way it's taken on a life of its own say about who we are and what we care about? There's a good deal of evidence the country is at once repulsed and fascinated by what it is seeing and reading. NBC's Bob Faw tonight on the signs of the times.
Once, the news in these corridors was momentous. War, disaster, abuse of power. Now, it's all about the stain on a dress. For many, so tawdry, so sordid, they turn away from the coverage in disgust.
And the very fact that I have not been able to automatically let my young daughter sit with me and watch the news anymore tells you what has happened here.
Still, there's a reason it dominates covers and coverage. Increasingly, there are signs the country is getting cruder and that crude sells. The new hit movie, There's Something About Mary, is a nonstop celebration of the gross. TV's South Park resorts time and again to cheap bathroom humor. The ultimate schlockmeister, Jerry Springer, not only takes the low road, he's learned the hard way. When he dropped this approach, ratings tumbled. Now the circle is complete. The president who went on MTV and was asked about his underwear finds his presidency hinges on a blue cocktail dress. As one columnist put it, the lowbrow culture he cultivated has engulfed his presidency. And traditionalists argue that hurts everyone.
Things that would never have been acceptable years ago all of a sudden are. I mean, my goodness, if we can talk about it on the nightly news, why can't we talk about it in a 30-minute sitcom that is supposed to be geared toward the family?
Others, though, point out he is not solely to blame and that coverage of he said, she said sheds as much light on the media's values as it does on Mr. Clinton's.
All of our media have become overwhelmingly commercial. This has meant a gradual and evidently unstoppable move toward the trivial, toward the sensationalistic.
The sad fact is, in a country where almost nothing is sacred and where four-letter words no longer shock, whether it's this or this, most of the country is right at home. Bob Faw, NBC News, Washington.
Also tonight, NBC's Lisa Myers is reporting in a sealed decision an appeals court has ruled that the president's lawyer will not be able to question the prosecutors working for Ken Starr about his charges that they have been leaking information to the news media. Up next, a sign of the times when grown children fight over their aging parents and their money. And the #1 movie in America, its big impact on the generation that saved the world. Officials in Lafayette, Indiana are calling it a bizarre act of terrorism. A pickup with no driver smashed through the front door of a local courthouse and caught fire. There was a homemade bomb inside the truck, but it didn't go off. The FBI is investigating tonight. Now to our look at the family and an increasingly common, contentious new angle on the custody battlefield when grown children fight for custody of their older parents and for their money. Here's NBC's Pete Williams.
Stacey Adams of Southern California hasn't spoken to her brother in 2 years, the result of a bitter legal fight over their parents' estate. They were close as children, but when their mother died 5 years ago, they battled over how to divide the property.
My brother, he became emotionally involved. I became emotionally involved, and the two of us, you know, we just got into it, and things didn't work out the way Mom wanted at all.
Legal experts say their case is part of a national trend, more and more emotional court fights over the parents' wishes. One reason, there's more at stake. Up to $12 trillion could eventually be passed down from the World War II generation, the largest transfer of wealth in history. Another reason, families spread out. An Ohio judge who's handled these cases for 14 years says the children who stay behind feel entitled to more.
They want to tell me about all the things of why Mother left property to them to the exclusion of others, and why they're the favorite child, and why their brother or sister didn't do anything.
Another source of friction, longer lifespans. Children now fight about where their aging parents should live, with expensive nursing homes eating away at the inheritance. So parents are getting their own lawyers to keep control over their estates.
We're seeing many more disputes, and some what I would consider to be outright thievery involving the taking of mom or dad's money that you never used to see before.
But legal experts agree the most contentious fights come when the parents are gone. One lawyer who specializes in family issues recalls an especially bitter fight over a single piece of property, a painting.
The picture hung in the dining room throughout the children's lives, and they all wanted the picture. What was particularly ironic is that it was a picture of the Last Supper.
It's a growth area, elder law, trying to prevent family feuds that leave only bitterness as the real inheritance. Pete Williams, NBC News, Washington.
When I come back, what the film Private Ryan is doing to and for the men who lived the horror. Just how many World War II veterans are still around to tell the tale? The surprising nightly news numbers when we come back. Tonight, the home of the brave and the deep emotional impact of the film Saving Private Ryan on a generation now in its 70s and 80s, the men of World War II. For the second week in a row, Steven Spielberg's movie about D-Day and beyond was #1 at the box office. And as NBC's George Lewis tells us tonight, many of those buying the tickets know all too well the reality of the combat scenes.
Hollywood's take on history. Saving Private Ryan has packed them into theaters for 2 weekends in a row, and for veterans, rekindled some painful memories.
Sergeant John Wilkes, the first sergeant, he was killed.
Ray Nance of Bedford, Virginia, was a company commander on the D-Day landing and thought Private Ryan was an excellent movie.
It was one of the best. It was the best one that I'd ever seen.
The town of Bedford, population 6,000, is too small to have its own movie theater, so people here have to drive 30 miles to see Private Ryan. But this is a place that lost more than other towns, 23 of its sons killed in the Normandy invasion. So there's a great deal of curiosity here about how that event is portrayed on the screen. Lucille Bogus lost her 2 older brothers in the invasion. The movie, she says, brought back the tragic memories of their deaths.
I can very well remember on Sunday morning when our first telegram came, and then on Monday, the second telegram came, so our family was devastated, and I know my mom never got over it.
At the Bureau of Veterans Affairs in Washington, D.C., they've set up a special hotline where vets, upset by the movie, can vent their feelings. There have been hundreds of calls so far, 172 of the callers requiring counseling. Some vets say that while Saving Private Ryan is intense and disturbing, that no Hollywood movie, no matter how skillfully made, can capture the smell, the pain, the sheer agony of being in battle.
War is hell. And unfortunately, that's how we live. In every generation there's been war. That's part of nature. And I hate it.
Today, as he visited the memorial to the sons Bedford lost at Normandy, Ray Nance said he hopes that all the attention being given to the movie Private Ryan will bring more people to this spot to honor the real heroes of D-Day. George Lewis, NBC News, Los Angeles.
That's nightly news for this Monday night. Don't forget Dateline NBC tonight at 10, 9 Central. I'm Tom Brokaw, and it is good to be back from vacation, and I'll see you back here tomorrow night.